Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bob Whitehead speaking to you from Ragsdale Field in Narrows, Virginia. The broadcast you're about to hear is a tape-recorded broadcast of the happenings that took place last night in Narrows when the Green Wave of Narrows attempted its 23rd victory. And because of the caliber of football that is about to be played here in Southwest Virginia, WNRV decided that only the best would be fit for this broadcast tonight. And as a result have secured the talents of Frank Soden and Bob Gilmore, the voice of VPI, to do the play-by-play which you're about to hear. So without further ado, we'll turn our broadcast over to these two gentlemen, but first say that they're here tonight thanks to Clarence Taylor, manager of the Tannery, the New River Tannery, and mayor of Parisburg, and this radio station, WNRV. We'll be talking to you from time to time during this play-by-play this evening, but now I'd like to turn the microphone over to a veteran play-by-play and color man, Mr. Frank Soden of Richmond, Virginia, and one of the voices of VPI. Frank?
Thank you very much, Bob Whitehead, and good evening, everybody. It's certainly a pleasure for Bob Gilmore and I to be here tonight to be part of all of this wonderful championship ball game that's about to take place. And certainly it's a championship setting that we have here tonight at Ragsdale Field as the Green Wave of Narrows meets the Blacksburg Indians for the New River District Championship. A clear, cool night prevails. The teams have just come from their dressing rooms with the last-minute instructions from their respective coaches. Ken Stickley from Blacksburg and the veteran in his 32nd year coaching here at Narrows, Virginia, Harry Ragsdale. It looks like it's going to be an interesting ball game based on what we have been able to gather from the information obtained earlier this afternoon when we first arrived here in Narrows. And it has been a very pleasant afternoon and early evening that we have enjoyed so far. As just a little bit before this, we have the opportunity of having dinner with the respective mayors of Parisburg and Narrows, Mr. Terry Moses and his wife from Narrows, and Mr. and Mrs. Clarence Taylor from Parisburg. Championship game, that's what it's been billed, and that's what it'll turn out to be for sure. 22 straight victories for this Green Wave as they hope to roll over the Indians tonight. Can they make it number 23? That's the big question. So far this season, they have compiled a very enviable 8-0-0 record as compared with Blacksburg's 7-0-2 overall and 7-0-1 in the conference. Once more, it'll be the end play of Danny Phlegar, who is the top scorer for the Green Wave, to try to meet the challenges thrown up by the Indians from Blacksburg. They have a big scorer of their own in Jim Breland, the fullback, a 200-pounder who has crashed through on considerable occasions this season. The Green Wave of Narrows are the defending champions. Last year they topped the Blacksburg Indians 26-6 and are hopeful for another conquest of that sort tonight. A crowd, a capacity crowd and then some, of some 7,000 have gathered here at Ragsdale Field this evening. And it looks like play will be getting underway in a very short while. Therefore, it's my pleasure now to turn this microphone over to your play-by-play man tonight, the fellow who is my partner each Saturday afternoon on all the VPI football games, heard, by the way, every Saturday over WNRV in the heart of the New River Valley. And now, the voice of VPI play-by-play action with your lineups tonight, Bob Gilmore.
Thank you very much, Frank Soden. Good evening, everyone. And first, may I echo your sentiments. We're awfully happy indeed to be here for this championship contest tonight. The co-captains for Narrows, the tri-captains for Blacksburg, going out to the center of the field right now. Let's take this opportunity to give you the starting lineups. First for the Indians, the visitors from Blacksburg. At left end, Fred Zirkle at 190 pounds. At left tackle, a 160-pounder, Tom Lewis. At left guard, Willard LaFawn, 150 pounds. At center, Linwood Sutphen, 155 pounds. At right guard, Larry Vaught, 165-pounder. At right tackle for Blacksburg, Eddie Evans, 175 pounds. At right end, Joe Gregory, 160 pounds. In the backfield for Blacksburg, at quarterback, Buddy Martin, 135-pounder. Then we pick up some weight with the left halfback, Danny Surface, 160. At right halfback, Steve Arrington, 150. And the big fullback that Frank Soden mentioned just moments ago, Jim Breland, 200 pounds. He's the big gun for the Blacksburg Indians. Now for the homestanding Narrows Green Wave, undefeated, and hoping to close out their campaign that way. At left end, Danny Phlegar, co-captain, 6'4", 205 pounds, a senior. At left tackle, Lockard Conley, 6', 210-pound junior. At left guard, Bill Graham, 5'11", 170-pound junior. At center, Terry Johnson, 5'11", 175 pounds, and a senior. At right guard, Charles Hughes, 5'9", 150 junior. At right tackle, Bob Hale, co-captain, 5'7", 210 pounds, and a senior. At right end, Bob Cox, 6'4", 180 pounds, and a junior. So at the flank, we have two 6'4" ends. In the backfield, the quarterback or blocking back in the single wing used by Narrows, Jim Stables, 5'7", 155 pounds senior. Now, our national anthem. Of the national anthem, we're set to play ball in just a moment. Let's start again in the backfield for Narrows. At quarterback or the blocking back under the single wind system used by the Narrows team, Jim Stables, 5'7", 155 pound senior. The tailback or left halfback, Jerry Huffman, 5'7", 140 pound junior. The wingback or right halfback, Billy Neal, 5'6", 125 pound senior. And at fullback, Bucky Lawson, 5'10", 152 pound senior. Dan Phlegar, the co-captain and end, will kick off for Narrows as Blacksburg has won the opening toss, has elected to receive. The deep men will be Steve Arrington, John Raines, and Roger Levern. 140-pounder, 150-pounder, and another 150-pounder. As the ball now just fell off the tee, so Phlegar goes up to adjust it, goes back, and we're just about ready to get underway. There's the whistle, and here we go. Phlegar advances toward the ball. He gets off a wobbly end-over-end kick, which is going toward the far sidelines and out of bounds. And very likely, Blacksburg will elect to take the penalty, or perhaps not. Let's hold up and see. No indication as yet. They're throwing in a new ball, and believe it or not, they threw one out and one in, and the two collided in midair. So, Blacksburg elects to take the kick, which the officials rule goes out on the 40-yard line. So it's 1st and 10 now for Blacksburg, moving from our left to right. From the 40-yard line. The ball was given to the big fullback, Jim Breland. And Breland slams over the left side, maybe gets a yard or two before he's stopped by Charlie Smith along with James Rombo. The two guards stop Breland on the first play for a game of 2 yards up on the 42-yard line of the Indians. Makes it 2nd down and 8 yards to go. The ball game just underway, and the ball just about midway between the sideline stripes. Tight T formation for the Indians from Blacksburg. Long count for the quarterback, Buddy Martin. Martin hands off to his left halfback, finds a hole, gets into the secondary, close to the midfield stripe. That's Danny Siffis running low and hard, explodes into the secondary, romps close to the midfield stripe before Paul Richardson in the secondary moves in to bring him down. A yard short of a first down on the Blacksburg 49. So it's 3rd down and 1 yard to go. Narrows now very likely looking toward Jim Breland, the big fullback, to get this needed yard. Let's see. The ball is given to the right halfback, who is close to the midfield stripe and close to his first down. That's Steve Arrington, who is stopped by the entire center of the Narrows line. That means Graham, Johnson, and Hughes, reading from left to right, guard, center, and guard. And it is short of a first down. But we'll call it on the 50. Nevertheless, an inch is short, and we'll see whether Blacksburg elects to go, to gamble, or to play it safely and kick. 4th down, inches to go. The ball game just underway. There is no scoreboard clock, so from time to time we'll have to estimate the time, but we're early in the first quarter, of course. Blacksburg will go for it. The ball is given to the fullback. This is Breland, who gets his yardage. He's a yard into Narrows territory before he's stopped by Charlie Smith and James Rombo again, the two guards for Narrows. It's a first down. I guess we were a bit premature, actually, calling the play because it wasn't that easily done. The officials had to look slowly and cautiously over toward the sideline markers before they indicated it was a first down. We'll call it the Narrows 49. It's 1st and 10 for the Indians, who have picked up their first down of the evening, moving from their 40 to the 50. The ball is given to Steve Arrington, the right halfback. Arrington tries to roll out over the left end, picks up a block, gets 2 or 3 yards before Bob Cox, the defensive right end, moves over to meet him and bring him down. Arrington stopped the officials' rule on the Narrows 47-yard line. That will be a pickup of 2 yards on the play and make it second down and 8 yards to go. No score here in Narrows, Virginia. The championship ball game. Tight T formation. The ball is given to the left halfback on the counter play. It flows into the secondary, gets a block. This is Danny Surface moving inside the 40, down to the 35 and close to the 30 before he's hauled down by Paul Richardson. That's the second time tonight on the same play. Danny Surface on the counter play, the left halfback exploding over center, out into the right secondary of Narrows and down to the 31-yard line. A 16-yard gallop by 160-pound left halfback Danny Surface, and of course a first down. The second of the evening for Blacksburg. The Indians rolling well on the ground. The ball is given again, this time to Surface. Surface is hit at the line of scrimmage, but still falls inside the 30 to about the 27 or 26 before Rambo, the junior 170-pound 6-footer, brings him down at the 27-yard line, we'll call it, and a gain of 4 yards on the play makes it second and 6. Blacksburg wasting little time in the huddle. The Indians up to the line of scrimmage. Tight T formation, balanced line. The pitch out is to the right halfback, this time Arrington, who's trying to sweep left end, turns the corner, gets inside the 25, and down close to the 20, I believe, before he's pulled down by Jim Stables. And let's see where they place the ball. The ball is just about on the 20-yard line, and a first down. That's the third first down for Blacksburg, moving extremely well on the ground. They have advanced from their own 40 to the enemy 20-yard line. It's first and 10. The ball is given to Surface again, but this time he's piled up hard on the line of scrimmage by the entire center, the forward wall of Narrows, moving in to stop the ball carrier on that one. Danny Surface, a 160-pounder, stopped for the first time cold on the 20. So it's second down and 10 yards to go. The backfield, the fullback, is a pace or two behind the halfbacks normally when Blacksburg lines up. Otherwise, a normal tight T formation. The quarterback, Martin, calling his signals. Holds and runs. Gives to Surface. Surface is trying to turn the right corner, sweeping right in. Gets close to the 15-yard line before he's knocked down by Lockard Conley. Conley, a 6-foot, 210-pound junior, the left tackle. Brings the ball carrier down on about the 14-yard line. Again on the last play of 6 yards, makes it third and about 5 yards to go. A short 5. Third and 5. So now the Narrows cheering section goes to work. The ball is given to the fullback this time, Jim Breland, who's been used as a decoy pretty much up until now. Breland dives over the left side, gets close to the 10 as Jim Stables, along with Bob Cox, move in to make the stop. Breland carrying to the 11-yard line. That will be 3 more yards on the play. Makes it fourth down and about 2 yards to go. 4th and 2. A crucial situation as Blacksburg calls timeout. In the early minutes of the first quarter, the score is Blacksburg nothing and Narrows nothing.
Well, actually, what we've seen so far indicates that this Blacksburg team appears to be up for this ball game tonight. So far, they have racked up 3 first downs in this ball handling series. They started off from their own 40-yard line as the result of the poor kickoff by Danny Phlegar. And since then, they have been able to crash through on several line attempts and have been able to sweep wide on the ends that have given them good yardage. At one time, the middle of the Narrows line did converge to stop Surface cold, but that's the only time in this ball game so far that Blacksburg has not been able to advance the ball for at least a half yard. And that one big play that they needed, that half yard, they got when Breland managed to get up to the 50-yard stripe. So Narrows, now with its back to the wall, finds a 4th and 1 situation against them. They've got to hold on this one if they're going to take over. And we can rest assured that this Blacksburg club will be equally determined. The Blacksburg Indians clad in blue and gold uniforms, while Narrows, the Green Wave, in their traditional gold and green. Here we come up for the play now. Blacksburg needing 1 yard to go for that first down.
It's fourth down, Frank, as Martin, the quarterback, gives to his fullback, Breland. Breland is getting good yardage as he moves inside the 10-yard line for his first down. Close to the 5 this time. Jim Breland, the hard-driving 200-pound fullback, getting his first down. On the Narrows 5 or 4-yard line, let's call it, Paul Richardson, the linebacker, finally brought the big boy down on the 4. So it's first down and goal to go for Blacksburg, as Narrows has surrendered only 12 points all year long. And they're going to have that defense tested right now as Blacksburg quickly is brought out of the huddle and up to the line of scrimmage. 4 yards to go as Martin is up over center, pitches the ball out to his left halfback. This is Surface running wide around right end. He's going to be spilled short of the goal line, though, by 3 or 4 yards by Danny Phlegar. One of the finest ball players in this part of the country. Brings Surface down just about on the line of scrimmage, so Danny ran far, but to his right. And as best we can tell from here, it's still about 4 yards to go. And second down, as Martin this time gives the ball to the right halfback, who is circling left end in for the touchdown. That's Steve Arrington, circling left end, going in for the touchdown. Only the third scored against Narrows all season long, and the score is quickly Blacksburg 6 and Narrows nothing. As Steve Arrington, cutting the corner around the left end, got a good block, was tackled as he hit the end zone, fell inside. Roger Lovern will hold now as Jim Breland attempts the extra point. The ball is up in the air, and it is wide off to the right. No good. So the score remains Blacksburg 6 and Narrows nothing. How about that, Frank Soden? Quick action here tonight.
No doubt about it, Bob. The Blacksburg Indians took exactly 14 plays to cover those 60 yards for the score, making it 6-0. And we're seeing some fine, hard-running backs on this Blacksburg ball club. So far, they have shown Surface, Arrington, and Breland, and these boys know what to do with the ball when they can tuck it under that arm and go. They've been sound in sweeping the ends, and when they have to, they can go through the line as well. Now, certainly we've got to realize that this Narrows ball club has good defense potential, because they certainly could not score 247 points as they have in their 8 ball games so far, holding the opposition to 12, and those 12 points coming against 3rd and 4th units. On the other hand, Blacksburg is no slouch either offensively or defensively, having compiled 210 points to their opponent's 21 so far this year. It's a 6-0 ball game, but now Narrows has its first offensive opportunity this evening.
Eddie Evans kicks it off for Blacksburg. It's a short rolling kick, which is being picked up on the 35-yard line by Bob Cox, the right end of Narrows, and Cox is dropped immediately in his tracks, as it was a low, wobbly kick. Angling toward the sidelines, Cox picked it up, was hit down, and let's see if the officials are having a discussion on the field with respect to a penalty. They're bringing a Narrows player out. I believe that's Phlegar. It is, the co-captain. A penalty called against Blacksburg. Offsides refused by Narrows as they'll take the ball, 1st and 10, on the 30-yard line. Let's make that the 36-yard line. It's 1st and 10 now from the single wing right. The ball goes this time to Bob Davis, the tailback. Davis swings around the right end and then throws out into the secondary, incomplete, intended for Phlegar, the left end, knocked down by Roger Lovern, defending on the left side. So on the first play from scrimmage, Narrows takes to the air unsuccessfully. It's 2nd down and 10 yards to go from the 36-yard line. The ball is down to the tailback. Then on the inside reverse, the ball is given to number 15, Billy Neal. Neal tries to go over left tackle, gets to about the line of scrimmage, and that will be it, before it's stopped by Eddie Evans. So an inspired Blacksburg bunch so far has dominated the play. As it's now 3rd down and 10 yards to go, Evans got maybe a yard on the play. On the inside reverse, Evans was the wingback, or Neal, pardon me. Ball this time is pitched out on the right side to Bob Davis. Davis is trying to turn the right corner, gets up over the 35 to the 40, and is run out of bounds on about the 40, let's hold up.
42.
On about the 42-yard line. Tackle finally made by Jim Dotson. It's 4th down and 4 yards to go for Narrows, moving from our left to right. Blacksburg leads 6-0 midway in the first quarter. Back in punt formation is Jim Stables. It's Danny Surface and Roger Lovern back in double safety for Blacksburg. As the kick is angled toward the sidelines, going high, it's going to bounce in play, however, and bouncing toward the Blacksburg goal, where it was touched and knocked dead by a Narrows player. Phlegar was down on the play to knock it down dead. And let's place the yard line for you. On about the 24 or 23-yard line. So Narrows, unable to advance on the first series, is forced to kick to the 23-yard line of Blacksburg. The Indians enjoying a 6-0 lead. Tight T formation. Martin, the quarterback, on the long count. Gives off to his left halfback. That's Surface again. Surface on his favorite play. Slants over center. Gets up over the 25 to the 30 and close to the 35 before he's brought down hard by Bob Cox. Surface has been running extremely well tonight. Moves up to the 33-yard line. On the 33, the ball was pitched out this time to Surface, and Surface trying to swing right end, gets a yard, maybe two, as he was hit at the line of scrimmage on the far side, the 33, and pitched forward for another yard or maybe two. Dan Phlegar, once again, co-captain, outstanding end for Narrows, making the stop on the Blacksburg 35-yard line, and that's a first down. It's a 1st and 10 for Blacksburg, as that's 5 for the Indians so far, as Narrows has found it extremely difficult to contain this Blacksburg bunch tonight. Roger Lover now has come into the backfield for the Indians. 1st and 10. The ball was given this time to the right halfback, Steve Arrington. Arrington tried to go up the center, but couldn't. He was stopped by the two guards, Charlie Smith and James Rombo again, for Narrows. As he got to the 35, back to the line of scrimmage, and that was all. We're in the first quarter of play. Blacksburg leading by a score of 6-0, as the Indians rolled 60 yards on the ground with the first time with the football. The ball this time is on the quick hitter, given to the right halfback. That's Arrington, who dives over the right side, gets maybe a yard or so, and that will be all before Charlie Smith again, the left guard, a 190-pound senior, 6'1", moves in to make the tackle. It's on the 35 still. So, Narrows now, the defense has settled down to halt momentarily at any rate the Blacksburg Indians, who have dominated play so far. It's 3rd down and still 10 yards to go from the Indians 35. The ball on the far hash mark. Tight T formation. The line is extremely tight. The pitch outs to the right halfback, Arrington. Arrington circling wide to his left, trying to cut the corner. Does. And gets up to the 40 before he's brought down by Bob Hale, co-captain and right tackle, 5'7", 210-pound senior. Arrington was coming wide to his left, then cut in sharply, got to the 40, got 5 yards, but that was all. So it's 4th down and 5 yards to go. 4th and 5 for Blacksburg. They lead 6-0, but for the first time, the Indians probably will be called upon to kick now. Joe Gregory, the right end, 160-pound end, is standing deep to do the punting for Blacksburg. Paul Richardson is back in single safety, and the kick is blocked by Narrows. It's bouncing back toward the Blacksburg goal line, down toward the 12. It's fallen on. It'll be Narrows' ball in any event, as the kick is blocked by Bob Cox. Oh, pardon me, Danny Phlegar was the man who blocked it. It was Cox to recover it. As the two ends team up to put Narrows quickly back into this ball game on the Blacksburg 11-yard line. Phlegar really exploded through there to block that kick, and now we can see why he's touted so highly. He really exploded through there to block that kick. Cox coming in from the other side to fall on it from the Blacksburg 11. Narrows will put the ball into play. And that is the end of the first quarter, with 1 quarter of play complete. Your score is Blacksburg 6 and Narrows on the move, but nothing.
We're mighty happy to be here tonight, Bob Gilmore and yours truly, Frank Soden. And we're mighty happy, too, that we can put in a word at this time for the New River Tannery. Because, you know, the New River Tannery right here in Harrisburg is an important function to the people of this area and to many people around the country, as a matter of fact, because without the work that they do, many people would not be able to enjoy many of the fine things that we have around this country of ours today when it comes to leather goods. The football, for example, that these boys are playing with tonight, from the tannery, perhaps, of New River. And we're seeing teamwork by both of these schools tonight, the kind of teamwork that's always prevalent at the New River Tannery. Time in once again as we get set for the second quarter. The score, Blacksburg nothing, Blacksburg 6, Narrows nothing.
The ball this time is handed off to Jerry Huffman, and the tailback for Narrows tries the right side, gets to about the 10-yard line, maybe inside for a yard or so, before he's brought down by Willard LaFawn and Tom Lewis on the left side of the Blacksburg line. The ball is on the 9. We'll call it a pickup on the play of 3 yards, make it 2nd and 7 for Narrows, trying to take advantage of a block kick and get back in this ball game. The wing is to the left this time. The ball, though, is going around the right end this time. The carrier is Bucky Lawson, the fullback, and Lawson's going to be spilled for a loss. only a yard or so, but that is valuable yardage lost by the Green Wave right here. Moving through quickly was Eddie King at end to bring the ball carrier, Bucky Lawson, a 152-pound senior fullback, down on the 11. A loss on the play of 2 yards makes it third down and 9 yards to go. So the Green Wave almost back where they started. Here's the tailback back to Stowe. It's complete down to the 8-yard line to the 9. It's from Bob Davis, the tailback, to Danny Phlegar, the left end. Phlegar finally broke loose, went into the end zone, but the play had been blown dead. But from the fans in front of us, come a call for a touchdown as Phlegar finally got in, but he had been long stopped on the line at the 9-yard line. However, the pass was complete from Bob Davis, who had fallen far back into the pocket, thrown a high rifle-like pass to Phlegar, who leaped up, took it in stride, and was dumped on the 9. So it's fourth down, and still 7 yards to go for the first down. Now let's see what Narrows will try. Single wing right, unbalanced line, going back to Stowe. Is the tailback again, throwing into the end zone, batted down, incomplete from Bob Davis, intended for wingback Billy Neal, batted down by Roger Lovern. And there's a key play right now which goes toward Blacksburg as the Indians respond after getting a bad break. Perhaps you shouldn't call that type of play a break because Narrows forced it, or Phlegar in particular, by blocking the punt. Timeout is called on the playing field. Early in the second quarter, the score is Blacksburg 6, Narrows nothing.
We mentioned a little bit earlier tonight that we had the opportunity of being with the respective mayors of the communities of Narrows and Parisburg. And also with us was WNRV's Girl Friday and Mr. E.D. Williams of WNRV, as well as Bob Whitehead. These are all names I know that are familiar to you, but it has certainly been our pleasure to be with these folks tonight and enjoy all of the pre-game excitement that takes place when any championship game is played. And tonight, it is championship football. The stand just made now by Blacksburg was certainly of championship caliber, and that's the same kind of championship work that's turned out every time by Lees and McVitie Incorporated, the New River Tannery in Parisburg. Blacksburg comes out of their huddle. It's their ball, 1st and 10 from their own 9-yard line. They lead 6-0.
The ball is pushed out to Arrington now, and Arrington tries the left side, gets up to the 10-yard line, circling wide, then cutting back in, is stopped up on about the 10 or 11 by the right side, defensively, of the Narrows line, Cox, Hale, and Hughes. Arrington moving out. The officials spot the ball on the 11, so that will mean a gain of 2 yards on the play. Will make it 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Breland at full, Arrington and Surface, the halfbacks, Martin at quarterback. They've gone all the way for this Blacksburg club so far. And Lovern. The ball this time is given off to Lovern, and Lovern finds a hole over the center, gallops through it into the secondary, up over the 15, the 20, and close to the 25 before he's brought down by Bucky Lawson, deep in the secondary. The play carrying up to the 22 or 23-yard line. 6 first downs for Blacksburg tonight, as Lovern that time exploded through the center. It's 1st and 10 for the Indians on their own 23. Ball handed off this time again to Lovern. Lovern threaded his way that time through what started to be a hole, but then closed up quickly as Dan Phlegar moved in, along with Bob Hale and Bob Cox, to bring the ball carrier down on the 26-yard line. 7 yards to go for the Indians. They lead here in the second quarter by a score of 6-0, having marched 60 yards on a sustained drive the first time with the football. Long count from the quarterback. The ball was given this time to the left halfback on the quick hitter. Finds a hole on the left side. Explodes again into the secondary. Gets up over the 30, 35-yard line. That was Breland hitting hard, getting to the 35 exactly before Bob Cox, the 6'4", 180-pound junior right end, brings him down on the 35. Quarterback calling signals. They give us to the fullback again, who pounds his way up the center. That's Jim Breland, getting 3 or 4 yards. Lockhart Conley brings him down. He's the 210-pound junior tackle. And a Narrows player, I believe, is shaken up on the play. So time is called on the playing field with a Narrows player injured on the play. In the second quarter, the score is Blacksburg 6, Narrows nothing. We have just learned that Bill Brill, a very close friend of ours, who is also sports editor of the Roanoke Times, is in attendance at this ball game tonight. And Bill is seeing a very fine ball game, as we are. And I think that's probably true.
as we get the opinion perhaps of Bob Whitehead at this time. Bob, this looks like it's going to be a real nip-and-tuck ball game and a hard hitter.
Frank, it sure does. And I think before the evening is out and before Frank Soden and Bob Gilmore get finished with their play-by-play and color here tonight, we'll be able to announce a lot more personalities in the sports world from the state of Virginia here tonight in attendance to see this great ball game. I know that all of us here in Southwest Virginia think the world of Bill BRILL, and more so tonight because of his fine writings of our great ball club here in Narrows. And Bill, like many other people connected with the sports world, will be here tonight, and I think before the night's over and before you and Bob Soden finish your broadcasting, that we'll all be surprised to find out how many people are really here tonight connected with the sports world.
With 7,000 here, is a sure indication that that'll be the case. Many scouts on hand to scout some of the boys who are completing their activity for both schools. And here's the play from Bob.
Way back in, the quick hitter given to Danny Surface, the left halfback, got to the 40-yard line, stopped by Bob Hale, the co-captain and right tackle, along with Conley, the left tackle. Injured on that play just a moment ago was Bill Graham, the left guard, 5'11", 170-pounder. He's replaced by the son of the coach, Stan Ragsdale, a sophomore, 5'10", 160 pounds. It's third down and 5 yards to go. As the ball this time is given to Steve Arrington, the right halfback, turns the corner as he circles wide around the left end, gets up over the 45-yard line, and is hit out of bounds on the 48 by Bob Cox and Jim Stables. Blacksburg so far. The ball is on the Blacksburg 48-yard line. This series started on the Indians' 9. They moved out to the 48. They went 60 yards for their lone touchdown. They lead 6-0. Wing T right this time, man in motion, off to the right also. The pitch out. This time is to the fullback. This is Breland, who finds a hole and turns in, jumps over one man, gets to the 50, down close to the Narrows 40-yard line. Stopped by Bucky Lawson as Jim Breland, running more that time like a halfback than a fullback, just bowled his way. 200 pounds carrying to the 41-yard line of Narrows. They're going to measure. It's that close for the first down, and it would appear they made it. They did. Blacksburg gets their first down on the Narrows 41-yard line. It's 1st and 10 for the Indians.
Today, it was remarked by the coach of Narrows, Harry Ragsdale, that maybe his boys might be just a little too sharp for this ball game tonight, that they might be too much up. And so far, that could be the case as they trail 6-0. And Blacksburg just picked up another first down. The ball given this time to the right halfback. That is Steve Arrington. Arrington cracks over the center, gets inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Terry Johnson, the center, bangs him down on the 38. Johnson's a senior, 5'11", 175 pounds. That's 3 more yards for Blacksburg, which has 8 first downs so far, unofficially, a 2nd and 7. As Blacksburg has been mixing their plays up well. And Breland, the big fullback, has not been carrying quite as often, although he is on this one as he bucks his way, hits hard, down to the 35. Terry Johnson makes the stop, and Johnson had to give a yard at that as Breland came bowling into him. To the 35 goes the big Blacksburg fullback. It's third down and 4 yards to go for the Indians. They lead 6-0 late in the second quarter here in Narrows, Virginia. Martin, the quarterback, calls for the tight normal T formation. Gives the ball this time to his fullback again, I believe. Breland, it was, who went over left guard that time, slanting out toward the left side secondary, and gets down to the 30-yard line on another first down. Bob Hale and Bob Cox, the right linebacker and end, respectively, bring Breland down, but not before he gets another first down, number 9 for Blacksburg. The Indians have completely, with one exception, dominated play tonight. The ball this time given to the left halfback. Flag on the play. The ball is given to Levern. Levern gets inside the 30 and to about the 26 or 5-yard line, but a flag was down on the play. Richardson making the tackle and will hold up. And again, a Narrows player is taken up on the play, but only momentarily. Looked like Phlegar. It was, but he's all right. I think it looks like he may have injured his arm to some degree. Let's pause right here, 10 seconds for station identification. This is WNRV in the heart of the New River Valley, Narrows, Harrisburg, Virginia. The penalty called on the last play was against Blacksburg. It was a 5-yard penalty. To my knowledge, the first one stepped off this evening. The first penalty of the ball game, illegal procedure called
against Blacksburg, takes the ball back to the Indians' Narrows 35-yard line and makes it first down and 15 yards to go. So instead of picking up 4, the Indians lost 5. Line in tight as the pitch out this time is to Arrington. Arrington trying to circle left end, gets a block as he gets inside the line of scrimmage, the 35, and down to about the 31 or 30. Bob Hale, the co-captain, along with Jim Stables, the right side linebacker or corner man, making the tackle on Arrington on the 31-yard line. Arrington gets 4. Let's call it the 30 now and make it 2nd and 10. As the officials put it right on the 30-yard line on the far hash mark, Blacksburg moving from our left to right, man in motion to the right. The pitch out is to the fullback, BRILL, who's trying to swing right in, trying to get a block, doesn't, and is thrown out of bounds. He'll lose a yard or 2 on that one. Dan Phlegar, recovering quickly along with Bucky Lawson, drive the big guy out of bounds. BRILL didn't have a chance on that one. He was running laterally with the line of scrimmage, never got the chance to cut in, driven out of bounds on the 31-yard line. So he lost a yard, and it's 3rd and 11. A 60-yard sustained march on the part of Blacksburg after they took the opening kickoff resulted in the first and only score of the football game. From the looks of things on the field, we have a timeout, or at least enough of one to call in once again. Frank said with the score 6-0, Blacksburg on top.
Well, so far in this ball game, these are unofficial figures, but we noticed that Blacksburg has yet to throw a pass tonight. They have stayed completely to the ground, while Narrows has attempted 3 passes, completed 1 to Danny Phlegar, good for a 2-yard advance. Both teams have been forced to kick on one occasion, and the one instance that Blacksburg did kick, Phlegar came in, blocked the ball, and it was recovered by Cox to give Narrows what appeared to be at the time a big break in the ball game. They trailed 6-0, and when they recovered that kick, it put them down into Blacksburg territory, deep about the 11-yard line, but they were unable to advance the ball for that tying touchdown, and now are once again trying to hold the door shut against these Indians from Blacksburg, who lead 6-0. Here's the play.
And this is going to be the first Blacksburg pass. Is thrown high in the air and is incomplete. Down on the 10-yard line, thrown by Roger Lovern, intended for the left end. Fred Zirkle lost it too high as 2 or 3 defenders were there, including Jim Stables of Narrows, to bat it down. A high pass down to around the 10 or 15-yard line of Narrows, thrown by Blacksburg's Roger Lovern in at quarterback, replacing Buddy Martin. So it's back to the 31, and it's 4th down and 11 yards to go. And Blacksburg is going for it. Lovern jump pass over the center is complete, but not for enough yardage. The pass is complete, I believe, to the left end. Fred Zirkle it was. Zirkle got to the 25 and inside to about the 24, but Bob Hale was there along with Paul Richardson to stop Blacksburg short of the first down. And Narrows takes over, 1st and 10. Timeout is called by Blacksburg. Late in the second quarter, the score is Blacksburg 6, Narrows nothing.
This game tonight is being brought to you through the courtesy of the New River Tannery, Lees and McVitie Incorporated, and WNRV in Narrows, Harrisburg, Virginia. One thing that I was been amazed at since coming into Blacksburg and coming through Blacksburg, rather, and into Narrows and Harrisburg earlier this afternoon, has been the tremendous spirit and cooperation of the people of both towns. The interest in this ball game tonight, full well realizing what a championship game it is. 22 straight for the Narrows Green Wave as they try to make it 23 and wrap up another championship tonight. They're the defending champions, having topped Blacksburg last year 26-6. And the spirit and teamwork and cooperation that's prevalent between these two towns of Narrows and Harrisburg, certainly also on the field tonight, as Narrows now tries to muster its strength to come up with some teamwork of its own that will allow this ball game to be tied up. They trail 6-0, and here's the play. The right end is split, and the ball is given to Bucky Lawson, the fullback. Lawson explodes over the line of scrimmage, straight up the center, into the secondary for maybe 4, 5, 6 yards before he is stopped by Sutphin and Nafan, the center and guard respectively, as he moves over the 25 to the 28-yard line. Lawson gets 4 to make it 2nd down and 6 yards to go on the 29-yard line. Again, the ball is given to Lawson, the fullback, and Lawson goes over the center, stopped by the entire middle of the Blacksburg line this time, but he moves over the 30-yard line to the 32 this time. Not this time, to indicate 2 minutes left to play in the first half. 2 minutes left to play, Blacksburg leading 6-0.
correct that. 4 minutes left to play. As the ball this time is given to Bob Davis. Davis is throwing out on the right side. Incomplete. Pardon me, the play was complete as we got lost in the far sidelines. The play was complete from Davis to Richardson, but short of a first down as it was up to the 33-yard line, so it's 4th down and still 2 yards to go. 4th and 2 for Narrows, as the Green Wave, with one exception tonight, has been unable to generate any sort of offense, which of course speaks well this evening for the Blacksburg defense. Jim Stables will go back to kick for the Green Wave. There's a flag on the play as he gets his kick away, and there's nobody back for Blacksburg as they're letting the ball roll out of bounds. Flag on the play. Stables' kick will go out of bounds around the 40 or 35-yard line of Blacksburg. So let's see what the penalty was all about. Oddly enough, nobody was back for Blacksburg at all.
Well, Bob, I believe that it's conceivable to think that with a time running out here in the half, that Blacksburg might have thought that Narrows was going to gamble a little bit, hoping for a possible chance here, or last-second chance in this first half. Trailing 6-0 as they were, and time obviously running out, they were gambling that Narrows might be throwing that pass, and instead elected to give them a little bit of opportunity there. The penalty is going to be chalked off against Narrows. Illegal procedure, and therefore you'll have to have another kick if that is what they're going to do in following up that last play.
Well, that makes it 4th down and 7 yards to go now for Narrows on its own 28-yard line, and now single safety, Roger Lovern back for the Indians. Looking more certainly for the kick this time. It's Jim Stables again to boot it. He just did get that last one off. Those lines are charging hard. Stables gets it away, a flag on the play again as it's coming up to the midfield stripe, and it's going to roll dead on about the 48-yard line of Blacksburg, where it's touched down by a Narrows player, Bob Cox. But there was another flag on that play. So once again, the officials are talking to the captains on the field. And it would appear they're talking to Blacksburg again. The last time, well, illegal motion is refused against Narrows. Refused by Blacksburg, and the Indians elect to put the ball into play where the punt rolled dead or on the Indians' 48-yard line. On the Blacksburg 48 then, it's 1st and 10 with approximately 2 minutes left to play in the first half. There's no scoreboard clock, as of course the local people are aware who have been out to the ballpark. We can only give you the approximate time. We'll see what Blacksburg does now. The ball was given to the left halfback. This is Lovern. Lovern cracking over the left side, inside the 50, down into Narrows territory to about the 47. Bob Cox and Bob Hale. The linebacker and end, respectively, for Narrows, making the stop on the 47-yard line of Narrows. That makes it a gain of 5 yards on the play. Makes it 2nd and 5 as Lovern got 5 on the last one. Tight T. The ball is given to the fullback. This is Breland crashing through the left side, close to the 40-yard line to about the 41 or 2. Before Hale, the co-captain, a senior 210-pounder, again makes the tackle. Breland, the workhorse of this Blacksburg club, gets to the 42-yard line. He gets his 5. It's 3rd down and about a yard to go. 3rd and 1 for Blacksburg as the time runs out here in the second quarter. The score is 6-0. Blacksburg leading. The ball is given to Arrington. Arrington turns the left corner, gets his first down, and is run out of bounds, which will also serve to stop the clock. He's run out inside the 35-yard line also. And there's some activity, Frank, across the field.
Yes, there was, Bob. Actually, I think we can say that the spirits of both clubs are high tonight. They're trying to make sure that each man on that team that they're opposing doesn't get any additional yardage. They're anxious to check everybody all the way down the line. And naturally, in this kind of a ball game, you're going to find they're going to toe the line a little bit, trying to stop them even after they appear to be stopped. And a personal foul, a 15-yarder, major penalty, first of the night, chalked up against Narrows Green Wave.
Blacksburg has the ball on the 19-yard line. 1st and 10. The ball is given to Lovern. Lovern is trapped this time behind the line of scrimmage as he tries to run out and around his right end. Brought down by Dan Phlegar again, the left end, the fine end for Narrows, who traps him back on the 22-yard line. A loss on the play of 3 yards will make it 2nd and 13 as time runs out on Blacksburg, despite the fact the Indians have a 6-0 lead. Blacksburg hasn't threatened particularly since taking the opening kickoff and marching 60 yards with it on the ground. Narrows had one opportunity, blocking a punt, taking over 1st and 10 on the Blacksburg 12. Timeout on the playing field. The score is Blacksburg 6 and Narrows nothing.
Every seat here tonight at Ragsdale Field is completely filled, and this 7,000 capacity crowd is jammed in every nook and corner that will give them available sight to the field. And we have an extremely fine vantage point, sitting high atop the hill in a movable remote unit, we might say, that allows us to sort of shuffle along from yard to yard with the team. We're in a truck here that's been set up for this occasion to give us perfect broadcast vantage point. Now, time back in once again, Blacksburg's ball.
2nd down, 13 yards to go. The pitch off this time is to Arrington. Arrington again trying to circle left end, then has to cut back in as he gets to the 20 and inside the 20, close to the 15-yard line before a host of Narrows tacklers move over to swarm him down. On about the 11-yard line, I believe, Paul Richardson making the tackle as Blacksburg quickly, it's 3rd and 2, by the way, as Blacksburg quickly breaks huddle, comes out to the line of scrimmage. Levern is given the ball, circling right end. There's a flag on the play as he's brought down hard inside the 10. Levern got inside the 10 to about the 8 or 7. Dan Phlegar again, co-captain and left end, who plays a whale of a lot of football for Narrows, brings him down inside the 10. There was a flag on the play, and let's see. It will be a major penalty being stepped off against Blacksburg. 15 yards, we think, for clipping. That will take the ball back to the 30. Clipping is called against Blacksburg. Back to the 25-yard line. So it's 3rd down and about 17 yards to go now for the Indians. The pitch out this time is to Arrington. Arrington again trying to swing left. He's going to be spilled for a loss. Back on the 27 or 28 by Bucky Lawson. Lawson wouldn't be taken out of that play and spilled the ball carrier for a loss back to the 28-yard line. So the Indians suddenly moving in reverse. They had moved down to the 11. Now they're back on the 28, and it's 4th down and about 19 or 20 yards to go for the 1st down. Time has to be running out here in the first half. Now Blacksburg is going into punt formation, but let's watch it. It's Joe Gregory back to kick it. Gets the pass in center, and he is going to kick it, angling for the sidelines for Coffin Corner. Gets off a good kick, but it rolls into the end zone for the automatic touchback, and that means Narrows will put the ball into play 1st and 10 on its own 20-yard line. So with time running out, Frank Soden in the first half. Narrows has the football, not the lead though. They trail 6-0.
It can be only seconds remaining here in this first half of what has been a real struggle so far. Narrows, however, has not been able to muster any kind of a offensive that would allow them to tie this ball game up, although they did have one opportunity. They have possession now with clock ticking off.
The ball goes directly to the tailback, Bobby Davis, who rifles a long pass downfield, intercepted by Blacksburg. The interceptor is back. That's Gregory, back to the 40, the 30 inside the 25-yard line, hit down hard on the far sideline. Some of the fans coming out toward the sideline. As Frank pointed out earlier, spirits are high. Joe Gregory going high in the pass to pick off an attempted aerial to Dan Phlegar. And that is the end of the first half. And it ends on a high note as Blacksburg picks off the pass, runs it back, but that ends the second quarter with the score. Blacksburg 6, Narrows nothing. And now to take you to the halftime festivities, here once again my broadcast partner, Frank Soden.
Right you are, Bob Gilmore. Once again, we'd like to remind you that your co-hosts tonight for this ball game, the New River Tannery, Lees and McVitie Incorporated, right here in Harrisburg, Virginia, and WNRV station that we hope you stay tuned to regularly throughout the day in the heart of the New River Valley. This is the championship ball game tonight between Blacksburg and Narrows, Virginia. 6-0 favor of Blacksburg, and it all happened in the opening minutes of play when Narrows, kicking off to Blacksburg, putted the ball out of bounds. The Blacksburg Indians, under Coach Ken Stickley, immediately put it in play from their own 40-yard line. 14 plays later, they had covered the 60 yards, all on the ground, by the way, to find Arrington bulling over from the 4 for the score, that allowed Blacksburg to move out in front 6-0. The attempted conversion was no good, and from that point on, these two teams have played a very tight ball game all the way. Narrows did have one scoring opportunity that fell short of the mark, as Blacksburg went into its one and only, or rather second kick of the night. They did boot two. Their first kick of the ball game, why Danny Phlegar raced in, made a tremendous block of the ball. It bounded back toward the Blacksburg end zone, and there Cox fell on it. Bob Cox fell on it on the 11-yard line, and Narrows put it in play from that point. So they were knocking on the door of the Indians, but the door just wouldn't open. They failed to make the necessary yardage. The Indians took over, and from that point on, neither team has been able to penetrate sufficiently for another tally. Although the Blacksburg Indians did move to the 24-yard line, only to have that change a little bit when penalties caused the ball to move back again. And then they were forced to make a second kick. Actually, as we quickly review some of the statistics, which are unofficial at this point, it's interesting to note that so far tonight, Blacksburg has rolled up 10 first downs to none for Narrows. Blacksburg has kicked on 2 occasions, and Narrows, too, has done the same. Penalties, 20 yards against Narrows and 20 against Blacksburg. 1 major penalty against each school, and 1 illegal procedure called against each school. Davis of Narrows has attempted 5 passes tonight, completed 2, and although completing 2, only picked up a total of 3 yards on the 2 passes. 1 Davis pass was intercepted in the very last few seconds of play. Lovern, on the pitching end for Blacksburg, tried twice, completed 1 for a pickup of 7 yards. Actually, as we quickly think about the first half, the play has been dominated by Blacksburg's Indians. They maintained possession of the ball throughout most of the first period, and also had the majority of plays in their favor in the second period. All told, the running of Jim Breland, along with Steve Arrington and Danny Surface, have been the key factors in Blacksburg's lead at this moment of 6-0. On the other hand, we have been tremendously impressed by the end play of Danny Phlegar. You can credit Bob Hale, the big tackle, another senior, with fine, outstanding line play defensively for Narrows. Bob Cox has been another fellow who has performed most creditably for Narrows tonight. Yes, it is halftime, and by the way, the bands of both schools are here this evening. The Indians from Blacksburg, as well as the band representing the Green Wave of Narrows, Virginia. Right now, the Indians band is out there performing in the center of the field, and in a little while, the Green Wave band will take over. But since it is halftime, and we have brought you up to date as to how the score was made, we'd like to take a few minutes now to talk to the 2 gentlemen it was our pleasure to be with for dinner this evening. I'm referring, of course, to the mayors of the towns of Harrisburg and Narrows, Virginia. First of all, since this is the Narrows game tonight, let's speak with Mayor Terry Moses, who is here and has been a very wonderful chance for us to meet him and find out a little something about the town of Narrows. And a little bit earlier this year, it was my pleasure to come into the town of Narrows and Harrisburg as well, and visit it for the first time. And I was tremendously impressed by the extreme picturesque setting in which this town lies, and as well as the tremendous industry that goes on. And I know that requires quite a lot of time and effort on the part of the mayor of any city, and I suppose, too, Mr. Moses, that it keeps you quite occupied as well.
Thank you, Frank. You're quite right. We are very proud of the New River Valley, and we are very happy to have you with us here tonight, and we wish to thank WNRV and all the other people that are responsible for this broadcast. Of course, we are just bursting with pride here tonight with our team. We are so proud of them. They are a wonderful team, and I think this is a fine way to climax the season. Now, we have the largest crowd at this field that I have ever seen, and I've been attending football games here for a long, long time. Of course, I have to admit that Blacksburg is leading 6-0 at the half, but let's remember, folks, it is still the half. We still have a whole half to go. So we are hoping, but it's been a hard-fight game, hard-fought game. We are very proud of both teams. It certainly has been a thrilling game so far, and we look forward to it being a good game for the rest of the half. Thank you very much.
Well, Mayor Moses, before you get away, we'd just like to find out a little something more about this ball club. I take it that you've seen most of the games that this high school has played this year.
Yes, Frank, I have.
And we've been a little bit surprised that any team that could roll up 247 points has not been able to muster any real offense tonight. Do you feel that they might just be a little too sharp for the ball game, or do you credit it to the tremendous defense so far that appears to be the case is thrown up by Blacksburg's Indians?
I think Blacksburg has a tremendous defense so far, but I think it will get rolling right now.
That's said with a great deal of confidence.
It certainly is.
Well, we're going to see what kind of a prognosticator you are, and certainly hope that the Narrows will be able to come through in the second half, dominate the play, and keep that victory string going. 22 straight at the present time, and I know that there's an awful lot of people here tonight that want it to be 23. And Bob Gilmore and I, most proud to be able to be here and be part of all of this championship activity tonight, and are grateful to you for allowing us to be part of it.
Well, thank you, Frank. We are certainly happy to have you and Bob Gilmore with us tonight, and we hope that you'll come back again to see us very soon.
We look forward to the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor Terry Moses of Narrows, Virginia. And now I'd like to ask the mayor of Harrisburg, Virginia, Mr. Clarence Taylor, to also give us a word. And first of all, Mr. Taylor, I think it is wonderful spirit that the New River Tannery has shown in acting as sponsor, along with WNRV, of this ball game tonight.
Thank you, Frank. We're very happy, along with WNRV, to bring you this football game.
I'm a little inquisitive, and while I think that I might be, many of the other people that are within the reach of the voice of WNRV, I think would like to know a little something more about this New River Tannery. And I felt just with the, in the few minutes that I've had of being able to be with you and your lovely wife, that you are anxious to participate in all of the affairs that go to make up real cooperation and teamwork and spirit between these two cities of yours.
We are, Frank. About half of our employees close to it live in Narrows and this surrounding area, and we're very happy to take part in this, bringing you this very fine football game. Win or lose, I think everyone in Giles County will have to take their hats off to Coach Ragsdale and his very fine football team that has made such a wonderful record the past 2 years.
Well, now, this ball game tonight climaxes the season for both teams, and undoubtedly, Narrows is hopeful that this victory game will turn out to be a victory and it can continue. But I think above all that the work that Lee's and McVitie Incorporated, the New River Tannery, does is most vital to all of us. The football, as we mentioned, on the field there before, and many, many other leather products that go to make up our daily use. And undoubtedly, most of this leather is turned out at your factory then.
Most of it is turned out, and we make mostly sole leather at our plant. We make quite a lot of sole leather that goes to points all over the United States and some foreign countries.
Now, how many... River Tannery thing?
We have around 220 employees at the present time.
And this is just another part of the industry that goes to make Harrisburg and Narrows thriving communities here in the New River Valley.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Mr. Taylor, I think, too, that the feeling that you and Mayor Moses contribute to your communities has meant a great deal to the people to show the fine spirit that you have in relation to the activities that go on, and particularly here tonight with this high school ball game. And it's been a great deal of pleasure for Bob Gilmore and myself to be invited up here by WNRV, Mr. E.D. McWilliams and Bob Whitehead, as well as you two gentlemen, to allow us the privilege of sharing all this excitement and championship feeling with you this evening.
Thank you, Frank. We're certainly proud to be a part of it.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Clarence Taylor, Mayor of Harrisburg, Virginia. And at the moment, we're thrilling to a very pleasant sight down there on the field. And Bob Whitehead, how about all this?
Well, Frank, I don't know. I'm sure that while you were busy there, you missed the announcement that was made here on the PA system. The serenade that you're about to hear is for you and Bob Gilmore for coming all the way from Richmond, Virginia, to do this broadcast first class tonight for a first-class ball club, two first-class ball clubs right here in Southwest Virginia. So what you're about to hear is a salute for you and Bob Gilmore. And we'd like to take this little band concert here, which will last just a few moments, and broadcast it to folks who will be with us tomorrow morning so that they can hear the Narrows band saluting two of the finest football play-by-play and color men in the southwest area today. So, Frank, we're going to steal the mic off you for a moment and turn our mics over to the bands of Mr. Woody Price, as we know him here, and listen to this Narrows band serenade to you and Bob Gilmore.
Well, on behalf of Bob, may we say thank you very much to the band, to the people of Narrows and Harrisburg, and to you, the wonderful people of WNRV. And before this band starts, I think we might remind them that it is through the efforts of Bob Whitehead, Mr. E.D. McWilliams, that Bob Gilmore and I are here this evening. And it has been our pleasure to bring the VPI games to these folks each Saturday. And again, now let's listen to the band music. We're enjoying it immensely.
Narrows High School band now comes to our side of the field, and the music that you're about to hear is a serenade from the band members of Narrows and their director, Woody Price, to Bob Gilmore and Frank Soden. Ladies and gentlemen, the Narrows High School band. High School band serenading our two honored guests here in the broadcast booth, the finest football pair in the business in this part of the country. We're proud to present to WNRV listeners Frank Soden and Bob Gilmore, who are doing the play-by-play in color here tonight by way of WNRV microphone. Frank, you're back in business.
Okay, Bob, thanks very much. At the moment, the band is going through some intricate maneuvers down there on the field, and a very capable band they are. Each week it's our pleasure to have the opportunity of seeing some tremendous bands around the country at the various colleges that we visit. But this Narrows band certainly can stand very high and proud of their ability and work, because we're most impressed with what we're seeing down there and the manner in which they're playing.
Frank, I might say there that we don't take a back seat in bands either. The band that you're seeing on the field right now won first place last year in the Winchester Apple Blossom Festival in the Fireman's Parade. And it's a band that does Southwest Virginia proud, and we're so proud of the nice words that you have to say about them.
You know, Bob, there's something about a band that's readily seen, the way they march, the steps they take, the maneuvers they go through, that puts them in a class by themselves, and you can't help but notice that when you spot this Narrows band out there on the field tonight. You get the feeling that they're championship all the way, and certainly, again, when we're talking about teamwork, I think any band helps the team along with the kind of halftime show that this club is putting on here tonight. And again, any championship football team deserves a championship band and vice versa.
Well, Frank, I want to say this, that the director of this band and his band members get the same cooperation as they get here at the football club. Mr. Woody Price, as he's known here in Southwest Virginia, does a tremendous job here, as does and he won't like me for this, the grand old man of football, Coach Ragsdale himself. But I can't call him the young man because he did come in here at a young age, I understand, Frank, to pile up those 32 years.
Well, I was most amazed when I found out today that he was here 32 years and had the opportunity of meeting him this afternoon. And they talk about Amos Alonzo Stagg and his great records, but somehow or another I think that the town of Narrows, the high school itself, can be tremendously proud of what this man has done for football in this area.
Frank, it was very amusing tonight when Bob Gilmore came over to the announcing booth here and we met. I know you fellas have read about this ball club and some of its outstanding players in your part of the country, the east coast of Virginia. And Bob said to me his first words, and I didn't know whether he was kidding or not because he was very serious when he said it, but he walked up and slapped me on the back and he says, "Bob, you have a new coach here." But then I didn't know he was kidding, and that is something, though. You're here at Ragsdale Field, and our ball club is under the direction of one of the greatest. And anyone in West Virginia will tell you that here's the greatest, Coach Ragsdale. We all love him. and his ball players certainly do. Their teamwork this year has certainly been proof of that, and in the past years and in their 22 wins.
Well, I know that Coach Ragsdale is very hopeful tonight that his club will be able to keep that victory streak going, although they trail at the moment 6-0. And while we're complimenting people, Bob, I want to take a moment to compliment what I think are three great ladies, because this is a rather cool, clear, crisp evening in every sense of the word. But we've got three of the greatest football fans standing behind me right now that I think deserve a pat on the back. And I'm referring to Mrs. Terry Moses, I'm referring to Mrs. Clarence Taylor, and to WNRV's Girl Friday, because they've been standing throughout this entire ball game, and they are proving themselves real, true football followers tonight.
Well, I was trying to figure out they're great football followers. They're just cold, Frank. But I'll take it that you hit it. They're great football fans.
Right, and now we're getting set for that second half kickoff. Bob Gilmore has checked his lineups. He's all set to go. Blacksburg will be kicking off 2 Narrows, and the Green Wave. This is the second Green Wave team we've seen so far this year, by the way. We were down in New Orleans, saw the Green Wave of Tulane top VPI in a ball game that was a thriller, and on that occasion, the Green Wave won. So we're going to see and hope for a repeat victory of the Green Wave tonight. All right, Bob Gilmore, it's all yours.
Right you are, Frank Soden. Eddie Evans will kick off for Blacksburg. It's a low kick, which is bouncing down, taken by Phlegar on about the 31-yard line. He's back up to the 35, still on his feet, and hit short of the 40. Or perhaps 35-yard line. We'll wait until we can see a marker. Phlegar picked the ball up on the run and got back maybe 13 or 14 yards before he was hit down hard on the 34-yard line of Narrows. It's 1st and 10 now for the Green Wave, and we'll see if the halftime session in the locker room has helped any. The ball this time is given to Billy Neal. Neal finds the hole, gets to the 40, the 50, the 40-yard line, the 35 as he cuts back in and is filled down finally deep in Blacksburg territory. Billy Neal, circling left hand, got excellent blocking, picked his way up to the midfield stripe, then ran into some trouble, but managed to ramble all the way down inside the 30-yard line, and we'll see exactly where the officials spot the ball. On the 23-yard line, let's call it, as Neal goes from the 34 to the 23, finally brought down by Joe Gregory. And, of course, it's 1st and 10. As the fans are electrified quickly, the ball is pitched out this time to Huffman. Huffman is swinging right in, gets a block as he's at the 20 to the 15-yard line before he's hauled down on the 16 or 17-yard line by Buddy Martin. On the 18-yard line this time, the ball is on the 18-yard line following that ramble by Huffman. The ball this time is given to Billy Neal, the wingback, and Neal tries the left tackle, cutting in as he goes wide to his left, gets close to the 15-yard line before he's hit down by Larry Vaught. As Neal gets about 3, it's 3rd down and 3 yards to go. 3rd and 3 on the 15. As Narrows is trying quickly to get back into this ball game, the ball goes to the tailback, rolling around his right end. That's Bob Davis, still on his feet, as he gets to the 10-yard line and is spilled out of bounds inside the 10 on the 6 or 7. Bob Davis, the tailback, running wide to his right, gets inside the 10 to the 8-yard line, and a 1st down. It's a 1st down for Narrows. Their first of the ball game, second, pardon me, the ball game. The first was the long run by Billy Neal. That went about 43 yards, by the way, that run of Neal's. We'll go back to that one later. Here is Neal circling left end again. He is tripped up as he tried to go wide to his left, will be tripped up on about the line of scrimmage. As he ran wide to his left, got plenty of running room that way, but none forward, as Fred Zirkle, the right end defensively, refused to be taken out of the play and brings Neal down on the same type of run on which he went some 43 yards earlier. We'll have a station break coming up for you in just a moment. It's 2nd down and 8 yards to go on the 8. The ball is to Davis, the tailback, looking to throw into the end zone. It is incomplete, intended for Dan Phlegar, the left end, and knocked down by Joe Gregory. Bob Davis, the tailback, on the run, off to his right, threw straight into the end zone, straight down the center, intended for Danny Phlegar, the left end and co-captain, batted down by the right end for Blacksburg, Joe Gregory. So it's third down and 8 yards to go on the Blacksburg 8. Single wing right. The ball again to Davis, the tailback, looking to throw. The short pass is complete, short of the goal line by a yard or two. Paul Richardson took the short running pass and was hit down on about the 2-yard line. It was Eddie King who made the tackle on that one, and this is very close to a touchdown for Narrows. They'll have a fourth down coming up and a yard or two to go for the touchdown, and timeout is called on the playing field. So, Frank, we had some action at the beginning of the ball game. We've got some more here at the start of the second half.
That's right, Bob. And all of tonight's action is coming to you over WNRV, Narrows, Harrisburg, Virginia, in the heart of the New River Valley. And we'd like to just mention that this New River Valley, to me, is one of the most beautiful settings that we have seen in the entire state of Virginia, and then some. We know that the people who live in this area cannot help but feel tremendously happy. The industry that's here, the fine spirit of teamwork and cooperation that prevails for both communities, Narrows and Harrisburg, right here in that New River Valley. I know that that first time that I mentioned that I came through here, I was tremendously impressed and cannot help but feel that way again on my second visit. I hope that the next time I come, I'll have more opportunity to visit the kind of places like the New River Tannery and the various other large plants that exist here in the New River Valley. Narrows green wave trying to roll over that goal line now, and can they do it?
It's fourth down and 2 yards to go. The ball is given to Bucky Lawson, who plunges over the left side for the touchdown. Bucky Lawson, the fullback, on the straight power hit left side into the end zone for the equalizer. It's all tied up at 6-6. Blacksburg 6 and Narrows 6. And now the all-important extra point. Well, Blacksburg, opening the ball game, drove 60 yards. And Narrows now has gone 66 for the touchdown, 43 of them on one play by Billy Neal. Dan Phlegar will attempt the extra point. Phlegar to attempt the extra point. The score is 6-6. The pass is back to Phlegar, who's going to run it out to the right side. He's still on his feet, getting close to the goal line. In for the extra point. And it's tied up 7-7. As Phlegar on the fake field goal or placement took a direct pass from center, scrambled around his own right hand into the end zone for the extra point, and the score is tied 7-7. Come on in, Frank.
It's 7-6, Bob Gilmore.
7-6.
I know you're rattled on that score, Bob, but let's keep Narrows in front.
Even the strangers can't stand it.
Oh, dear. That New River Valley air has him so imbibed with everything here at the moment. 7-6, Narrows has taken the lead, as they have done here at the start of the second half, exactly what Blacksburg did at the start of the first half of tonight's ball game. They have rolled 66 yards in 9 plays. The big play of the yardage, though, gobbled up by Billy Neal, who ran 43 yards on the very first play from scrimmage after that initial kick to start things off here in the second half. And Danny Phlegar coming through with that right end run, going over for the extra point. It's 7-6 Narrows, and can that hold up? Narrows kicking off to Blacksburg now here in the third period.
Phlegar kicks the ball. It's a booming line drive kick taken on the 14-yard line by Roger Lovern. Lovern comes straight up the center, over the 15 to the 20, and is tripped up over the 30-yard line, close to the 33, by Bill Graham, who was injured in the first half but is back into action, the 170-pound left guard. Lovern returns to the 33-yard line.
Bob, I think it's interesting to note that both Blacksburg and Narrows have given up touchdowns tonight, and in each case it's only the third time that their goal lines have been crossed by an opposing ball club this year. That is to say, by other teams.
The ball was given this time to the left halfback, Lovern. Lovern tried the center of the Narrows line. It did not yield, as the entire middle of the forward wall converged on the ball carrier to bring him down for no gain on the line of scrimmage. It's second down and 10 yards to go. It's 7-6, Narrows leading on the run for the extra point by Phlegar, which in high school play is good for but 1 point. The pitch out is to the right halfback this time. That's Arrington. Arrington on his favorite play, trying to go around left end, is smeared by Bob Hale and Bob Cox. He'll be dropped for a loss on the play of about 2 yards. No running room for Arrington on that one. It's on the 32. That'll make it third down and 11 yards to go. So Narrows is suddenly fired up. offensively and defensively. Here's the jump pass over the center, intercepted by Narrows' Bob Cox. Cox is circling toward the near sidelines at the 35, still on his feet. He's going to be spilled on the 36. Bob Cox took the pass intended for the left end of Blacksburg. Fred Zirkle, Eddie Evans finally made the tackle on Cox as he was hung up near the near sidelines, attempted to maneuver himself back toward the center, but was spun down on the 36-yard line. So Narrows comes to life in the second half. And it's first and 10 for the Green Wave on the 36-yard line of Blacksburg. The ball was pitched out this time to Jerry Huffman. Huffman circles to his right, drags 1-2 tacklers along with him. As he gets back up close to the 30, he was hit back on the 35 first, but got 3 or 4 more yards down to the 31 before he was brought down by Steve Arrington. The officials put the ball down on the 37-yard line, which makes it second down and about 11 yards to go. Actually, no gain on the last play, but rather a short loss, if anything. The ball this time is given to the fullback, Bucky Lawson. Lawson powers his way straight up the center inside the 35-yard line to the 34, where Larry Vaught brings him down. Vaught's the guard, 165-pounder for Blacksburg. It's third down and 8 yards to go for the Green Wave, who leads 7-6 midway in the third quarter. Single wing right. The ball this time is handed off to Billy Neal, the wingback, on the inside reverse. Fumbles and recovers. No gain on the play as Fred Zirkle and Eddie King converge to make the stop on the 34-yard line. So it's fourth down for Narrows on the Blacksburg 34. Fourth and long yardage. And rolling out to his left now to pass is Richardson, now running, gets running room at the 35, cuts back in at the 30, down inside the 25 and close to the 20. Paul Richardson on the rollout to his left, picks up his first down and then some as he gets to the Blacksburg 22-yard line. Richardson picking up 12 yards, circling wide around the left end, stopped by Willard LaFawn finally, but getting the first down, as this is an entirely different Narrows ball club in this second half. Held without a first down in the first half, they've come back strong to get the tying touchdown, go ahead on the extra point, and now driving again as timeout is called by Narrows. In the third period of play, the score is Narrows 7 and Blacksburg 6.
And I know that score is good to the ears of all of the Narrows fans and Parisburg people here tonight, because I imagine that the majority of people from both of these two communities are enjoying this championship game brought to you over WNRV and Narrows in Parisburg. Well, actually, we are seeing a different type ball club out here in the second half for Narrows. This afternoon, talking to Coach Harry Ragsdale of the Green Wave, he commented that he might have a few tricks up his own sleeve tonight should it be necessary. He said he expected to see some spread formations turned in by the Blacksburg Indians. So far tonight, we haven't noticed too much in the way of spread formations that they have come up with. But in the meantime, this Green Wave is playing a tremendous offensive ball game right now, whereas in the first half they were held to little yardage and at the same time failed to chalk up anything in the way of a first down. So far, they have 3 to their credit. The running of Neal, Richardson, Lawson, Huffman, very outstanding at this point. And now, they're on the move once again.
Single wing right. The ball goes to Davis. Davis rolling out to his right, looking to throw. Does. It is complete down to the 10-yard line. With the receiver, Bob Cox, still on his feet. He's finally hauled down on about the 11. Cox took the ball on the 10, a rifle pass, that time from Bob Davis, who was rolling out to his right. Hit on the 10, knocked down on the 11. And another first down for Narrows. Number 4 for the Green Wave. First and 10 to go on the Blacksburg 11-yard line. Narrows leading 7-6, wanting another one. The ball goes right to the tailback, this time the inside reverse. Billy Neal carrying, getting running room off to his left. Circling wide, getting close, but run out of bounds. In the left coffin corner on the 5-yard line by Blacksburg. Billy Neal running the same play he's run very well on 2 earlier occasions, driving into the 5-yard line. Again on the play of 6 yards makes it 2nd and 4. Joe Gregory making the last stop for the Indians. Single wing right. The ball goes to the tailback, who is going to be spun down for a loss this time. That's Bob Davis. Stayed on his feet, but the whistle blew the play dead, and we'll see where they spot it. Right here, with the ball on the 9-yard line, Blacksburg has called timeout. So late in the third quarter, the score is Narrows 7 and Blacksburg 6.
You know, I can't help think, Bob, of the days of radio when the Red River Valley boys were real big things. But tonight, it's the New River Valley boys that are doing things here at Ragsdale Field in Narrows, Virginia. This green wave, clad in green and gold uniforms tonight, are making things a little bit rough on the Blacksburg Indians at this stage in the ball game. 7-6, Narrows out in front as they're trying to preserve that 22-game victory skein. Can they do it? Time alone will tell. We're midway or 3/4 of the way through the third period tonight. And the single wing, which is something that we seldom see on our regular Saturdays of covering football, is a real treat to see tonight. We've seen so much T formation activity down there on that ball field Saturday after Saturday that to see these reverses and spinners and so on that we're coming up with tonight is a real treat. And this Narrows team knows how to execute them. More recently, that wingback as he swings around and then that handoff and the things like that they're coming up with tonight are proving that they know how to execute these plays as Coach Harry Ragsdale has worked on them all year long. Again, we've got to cite the end play of Cox and Phlegar. It has been tremendous. And these are boys that have been scouted week after week. And just where Phlegar in particular will wind up remains to be seen. But I know one thing for sure. I'd sure like to see him be playing with those gobblers from Blacksburg wearing that VPI uniform. Here we go now.
It's 3rd down, 8 yards to go on the 9-yard line. The inside reverse, and then the throw into the end zone is intercepted, I believe, by Blacksburg. And let's see what they'll rule on this one. Intercepted in the end zone, and an automatic touchback, we believe, would take it out to the 20-yard line. We didn't get an opportunity just a second ago to say that Blacksburg may have suffered a big loss when the injured player was Jim Breland, the big fullback. Joe Gregory it was to intercept the pass thrown by Bob Davis, intended for Dan Phlegar in the end zone. Gregory intercepting behind the end zone, takes the ball on the automatic touchback back out to the Blacksburg 20. So it will be 1st and 10 for the Indians on their own 20-yard line. Oddly enough, whereas Blacksburg dominated play in the first half, it's been Narrows almost entirely here in the second half. Now Blacksburg will have the ball 1st and 10 on its own 20. The score is 7-6. Narrows leads on a 2-yard touchdown by Bucky Lawson and the extra point run over by Dan Phlegar on the fake conversion. And Phlegar did it all by himself, too, you might say, as he pulled 2 would-be tacklers into the end zone with him. The ball this time is given to the left halfback, who is snowed under way back by Bob Cox. Let's check and see who that is. He got no running room, no blocking in front. Cox was in to make the tackle. Lovern was the ball carrier. And the ball is back on the 15-yard line, which means a loss on the play of 5 yards. It will be 2nd and 15 from the 15. So Blacksburg not generating the offense they were in the early stages of this ball game. This time the ball was given to the fullback, who plunges straight up the center, Johnny Raines. Raines gets a couple of yards, but doesn't run over Dan Phlegar or Charlie Smith, as both bring him down. Out to the 17 goes Raines, who has replaced Jim Breland at fullback for Blacksburg. It's 3rd down and 13 yards to go for the Indians. The pitch out is to the left halfback this time, who's trying to circle the right end, cuts in, gets up close to the 20, and he's hauled down by Charlie Smith again. Smith, a senior, 190-pound guard. Lovern, the ball carrier, gets about to the 19, which calls for a kicking situation as it's 4th and 11. Paul Richardson goes back in single safety. Breland now has come back into the ball game as the third quarter ends. The third quarter ends with the score: Narrows 7 and Blacksburg 6.
And this is really championship play at its best tonight. This game was expected to be real tight, and that's what it's proving to be. 7-6, favor of Narrows as they continue to bid for that 23rd straight win and another New River Valley District Championship. Bob?
Frank, I have to interrupt you at this moment. We just had a caller at our booth here, Mr. W.J. Kramer, who is plant manager of the Selco plant of the Celanese Corporation of America. And he would like nothing more than say thanks to you and Bob for coming over here tonight. And said that perhaps after the game he would say hello, but he's one of your best rooters on VPI games, and he'll be looking forward to hearing your game in a couple of hours down at Winston-Salem when you do the broadcast of the Wake Forest game.
We're looking forward to them. We appreciate those words from Mr. Kramer, Bob, and the fine help that the Celanese people have given us with our mobile truck tonight. Here's the play, Bob.
Joe Gregory gets off a high booming kick, which is taking a good bounce from the Blacksburg standpoint. It's bouncing inside the 35-yard line of Narrows as Gregory punted deep from his own territory, got a high kick away. It took a favorable bounce and bounced down to the 35-yard line of Narrows, at which point the Green Wave will put it into play, 1st and 10. That was a 4th and 11 down situation where Joe Gregory, the right end, booted it out, temporarily at any rate out of danger. So on the 35-yard line, Narrows puts it into play, 1st and 10, the Green Wave leading 7-6. They trailed 6-0 at halftime. Single wing right. The ball this time goes to the fullback, Bucky Lawson. Lawson plows straight up the center, over the 35, getting a couple of more yards, and then is stopped by Larry Bott, Linwood Sutphin, and Willard LaFawn, representing the center of the Blacksburg line. Up to the 37 goes Lawson for a gain of 2 yards on the play. That makes it 2nd and 8. Lawson's the fullback. Single wing right again, with the blocking back up short. The ball was given this time to Bob Davis. Davis finds a good hole, gets wide around the right end, and is driven out of bounds as he gets up close to the midfield stripe. Davis picking his way well behind his interference, finally swung the corner and got to the 48-yard line of Narrows. A gain of 11 yards on the play. 5 first downs now for the Green Wave as they pick up another one here. Lovern and Jim Dotson making the stop. On the Narrows 48, it's 1st and 10. As the ball seemingly, for one of the first times tonight, is right in front of our microphone. Flag on the play as the play goes up the center. Lawson carrying again on the fullback Buck. Flag was up high. Lawson got 3 or 4 yards on the play, but the penalty now is the important thing. They're talking to Blacksburg. Blacksburg trailing in the early minutes of the 4th quarter, 7-6. Actually, the young man who broke this ball game open was Billy Neal, who went 43 yards on the first play of the second half from his own 34 to the Blacksburg 23-yard line. The penalty is going to be marked off against Narrows. It's a 5-yarder. Illegal motion is called against Narrows. That will take the ball back to the, we'll call it the 44, and make it 1st and 15 on the Narrows 44-yard line. Single wing right. The ball this time winds up in the hands of Norman Clevenger, a freshman, the only freshman on the club, a 150-pound wingback. Clevenger doesn't get much, if any, as he goes to the 45-yard line. He gets a yard. Over the left side, Willard LaFawn along with Jim Breland. Breland shaken up earlier, but he's back in the ball game. 2nd and 14 for Narrows, leading 7-6, 4th quarter. Ball is back to the tailback this time. It is Davis going back to throw, looking way downfield. It is complete for a long gain and a touchdown for Narrows. A high pass to Dan Phlegar, who took the ball and actually grabbed it away from a Blacksburg defender on about the 25 or 30-yard line, wrestled with him for a few seconds, broke away into the clear, and went in for the touchdown as Narrows scores again and goes ahead 13-6. On another electrifying play on the part of the undefeated Green Wave. As Phlegar just out-jumped his defender, grabbed the ball away from him, shook loose, and went in for the touchdown on a 55-yard pass. Narrows apparently will attempt to run it over. The ball goes to the tailback. Now the inside reverse, and a pass play thrown into the end zone is complete for the extra point from Norman Clevenger to Dan Phlegar. And the score now is Narrows 14 and Blacksburg 6. And what a guy this Phlegar is, Frank, and how the complexion of this game has suddenly changed.
The other day I had occasion to talk to Bob Whitehead and John Roller, who heads the Bloodmobile set up down here and now is in Harrisburg. And they said, if you come down here, one fellow we know you're going to see that's really going to be tremendous is Danny Phlegar. And I don't think they said enough words about this boy, because Phlegar is absolutely top of any high school end that we have seen this year, and the way he can run with the ball as well indicates that he's going to make somebody a tremendous ball player when it comes to college this year, or the next year rather. Phlegar, in catching that pass and going the rest of the way to pick up the 55-yard overall play, leaped over his opponent, came up with that ball, outstepped two defensive men, and went over for that touchdown, and then in snagging this pass for the extra point, proved himself one of the greatest high school ball players that we have seen this year and also in many, many seasons. Phlegar is tremendous. And I said before, I hope that VPI has their eye on this boy. I'm sure that some of those fellows from Blacksburg have seen him, but if he was wearing a uniform at Blacksburg for VPI, he'd fall in the same category as All-American Carroll Dale, to say the least. Danny Phlegar, a name to certainly remember when it comes to football for the future. And this boy Cox, Bob Cox, is another name that can well go down as a great potential. The line play of some of these men for Narrows is another thing that we can't help but notice tonight. 14-6, Narrows well on its way here in the fourth period at Ragsdale Field over WNRV. Here's the kickoff.
Mr. All-Everything, Dan Phlegar, kicking off this time to Roger Lovern, who picks the ball up deep in his own territory on about the 15, finds a little running room temporarily, but a hole quickly closes up as he gets back over the 20 to about the 25. And a host of green wave tacklers swarm him under.
You know, Bob, with all the VPI people that we have met here tonight, if this alumni in the Narrows, Harrisburg area doesn't do something about getting Phlegar over there at Blacksburg, I don't know just what we're going to do about them over here.
Right you are, Frank. The great prospect. Jump pass over the center is complete from the quarterback to Fred Zirkle, the left end. And Zirkle gets up to around the 35-yard line before Bob Hale, co-captain and right tackle, bumps him down on the 30. On the 30-yard line it was, which means a gain of 6 yards on the play, and it's 2nd and 4. Martin again faking a jump pass, throwing out to his flare man on the left side. It is complete with the receiver being tripped up out of bounds as he gets up to the 35-yard line. That was Arrington. As Martin again went up in the air as if the jump pass went over the center, came down with the ball, then threw out to his swingman, Steve Arrington, moving around the left side. Got up over the 30 to the 34-yard line, where once again Bob Hale, right side linebacker, brought him down. Hale's been playing a lot of ball game along with Cox in that front line, 5'7", 210-pound senior. The play was to the 34. It's third down and a yard to go for the Indians. They trail 14-6 now. Phlegar has scored 8 points. The ball given to the fullback, Jim Breland, this time. Breland, who they always call on to get that short yardage, gets it as he moves over the 35 to about the 36 or 7. Dan Phlegar, along with Charles Smith, bringing him down. On the 37, it's 1st and 10. Frank Soden points out that's the first down of the second half for Blacksburg after dominating play in the first half. Jump pass over the center, flag on the play, complete up to the 44-yard line, but a flag on the play. Pass was to Joe Gregory, the right end, stopped by Hale again. And the penalty will be against Blacksburg from the 37-yard line. Just now starting to step it off. 5 yards. Offsides called against the Indians, and that cost them. Back to the 32-yard line, where it's first down and 15 yards to go. 1st and 15 for the Indians from Blacksburg. They trail 14-6. Chase, now starting to run around the right end, gets a little running room as he moves up over the 35, and he's spilled out of bounds on the far sideline. Danny Surface was the ball carrier. Bucky Lawson driving him out of bounds as he moved over the 35 by inches only. So Surface winds up getting 3 yards on the play at 2nd and 12. Just a ball's length over the Blacksburg 35-yard line. It's second down, 12 yards to go. The tight, normal T formation called by Buddy Martin, the quarterback. Martin's rolling out to throw, looking from the pocket, going way downfield. It's going to be intercepted by Narrows, back on the Narrows 45-yard line by Paul Richardson, who was hit in his tracks and brought down. Richardson had a tough catch on that one. He juggled it momentarily, finally found the handle, but just as he did, he was hit down on his own 45-yard line. So again, Narrows responds, picks off an errant Blacksburg aerial, takes over 1st and 10 on the Green Wave 45. Yeah, the ball this time is given to Bucky Lawson. Lawson finds running room as he moves to the enemy 45-yard line. Lawson gets just about 10 yards on a straight power hit over the right side. Stopped by Jim Dotson and Steve Arrington. Close to a first down. In Blacksburg territory, move the Green Wave. It must be just short of a first down, second down, and about a yard to go. The ball goes to the fullback this time, Lawson. Lawson piles the center, cracks up the middle, gets inside the 45 to the 42-yard line of Blacksburg before he's hauled down by a host of blue-shirted tacklers from Blacksburg, but he gets his first down on the 42. Narrows moving again. 6 first downs for the Green Wave tonight. None in the first half, though. It's 1st and 10. Narrows moving from our left to right. The ball goes to the fullback on the spinner, then the inside reverse. The ball winds up in the hands of Billy Neal, and Neal is spun down at the 40. That's tricky ball handling on the part of Narrows, and they run those plays well. Jim Breland finally making the stop on Neal on the 40. A pickup of 2 yards on the play makes it 2nd and 8. That was the spinner off the fullback with the wingback, Billy Neal, cutting inside on the reverse. Single wing right again. The ball goes to the tailback, going back to throw. This is Davis looking downfield. It is incomplete, falling short down on the 20-yard line. Intended for Bob Cox, the right end, from Bob Davis, the tailback. So it goes back to the Blacksburg 40-yard line. Still 8 yards to go. The upcoming down is now number 3. Narrows leading 14-6. And a lot of heroes for Narrows in this come from behind effort tonight. Once again to the tailback, looking for his quick pass over the right side. He hits it, and the receiver is bumped out of bounds on about the 35-yard line. That was Paul Richardson, who took the quick throw on the right side, knocked out by Jim Dotson. The officials place the ball on the 35-yard line. That means a gain of 5 yards on the last play, makes it 4th and 3. 4th down and 3 yards to go for Narrows, who would like nothing more than an insurance touchdown right here. However, it looks like the Green Wave will play it safe, as they're falling at least in the punt formation as Jim Stables goes back, standing on the Blacksburg 48. Gets a good pass in center. Kicks it off the side of his foot. It's a wobbly kick going down to the 10, the 5. Is touched down by Narrows inside the 5-yard line. The ball is blown dead on the 2 or 3 yard line of Blacksburg on a wobbly kick, but Narrows was quickly downfield. Touched the football. It was thus blown dead on the Blacksburg 3. That was Danny Phlegar, who was quickly downfield. He had done that almost identically earlier in the ball game. Blacksburg now with their backs to the goal line. The ball was given on the quick hitter this time to the fullback, Jim Breland, who's trying to get some running room for his teammates. He moves outside the 5 this time, gets 3 or 4 yards, and that will be all before Terry Johnson, the center, brings him down along with Charlie Smith. And timeout is called on the playing field as a Narrows player is shaken up on the play. So with timeout late in the 4th quarter, the score is Narrows 14, Blacksburg 6. Come on in, Frank Soden.
All right, Bob, we'd just like to again remind everybody that all of this action tonight in this New River District Valley Championship game between Blacksburg and Narrows, Virginia, is being played at Ragsdale Field in Narrows and being brought to you by WNRV in the heart of the New River Valley, Narrows, Harrisburg, Virginia. We're coming down the stretch of the 4th period here, with Narrows leading 14-6. And as Bob mentioned, a real come-from-behind effort. The complexion of this game has been such that the second half has seen Narrows dominate the play all the way from the start of the kickoff, just as Blacksburg did throughout most of the entire first half. It was a 6-0 deficit for Narrows as the teams left the field at halftime, but here in this third and fourth period, Narrows has come through with a great drive offensively, and at the same time has proved themselves the kind of defensive ball club that they were noted to be when they stopped Blacksburg cold in the second half, marking only 12 points against them in the first 8 ball games they played. They did give up another touchdown tonight, the first time this season that the first unit of Narrows has allowed any score against them. The other 2 touchdowns that they did yield were against the third and fourth units of Coach Harry Ragsdale. It has been our pleasure tonight to be here in this New River Valley area at Narrows in Harrisburg, Virginia, to bring you all of the excitement and play-by-play action of this ball game, the championship affair. And at the moment, one of the young men from Narrows. Let's check with Don Glickman. It's Jones Rambo, who has been somewhat shaken up and is being assisted off the field by some of the folks here tonight. And we'll get ready for the continuance of play here in just a moment. We certainly hope that the young man is going to be all right. He may have suffered a twisted knee or something, but this is the last ball game of the season. Whether he plays basketball or not, I don't know. But nevertheless, he's sure contributed much to the Narrows season this year.
All right, Bob. It's on the 8-yard line, and the ball is given to Lovern. Lovern circling wide around his own right end from the 8. Is hit and won't get any yardage on that one as he tried to cut the corner, tried to turn it, and is stopped cold. Once again, it was Dan Phlegar moving in to make the tackle. Phlegar operating equally as well on offense, defense, kicking. 4 minutes remain in the ball game. 4 minutes left in the ball game. And Blacksburg, faced with a tough situation indeed, the ball on the 8-yard line. It's third down and still about 5 yards to go. The ball this time is pitched out to the left halfback, who swings wide, gets up over the 10 to about the 12 or 13-yard line. Stopped by Bob Hale after a gain of maybe 3 or 4 yards on the play. Cox and Hale both moving in to make the stop. It's fourth down and 2 or 3 yards to go as Joe Gregory is forced to fall back in deep punt formation. He'll kick it out of his end zone. Single safety for Narrows. The rush was not on that time. Gregory gets his kick away. It's a high one, which will be allowed to roll. It's rolling up near the midfield stripe and is fallen on and fumbled by Narrows. Blacksburg recovers. It was Paul Richardson who took a delayed grab at the football after it was rolling around, decided he would try to pick it up and run, fumbled it, recovered by Blacksburg on the Blacksburg 49-yard line. So the Indians get a break late in the ball game with less than 4 minutes remaining. There is a jump pass intended for Fred Zirkle now, the right end, which falls incomplete. Bob Hale there to defend against it, and Blacksburg now probably will take to the air as time runs out on the Indians' 49-yard line. It's second down and 10 yards to go. As Buddy Martin, the quarterback, has a double wing tee this time. Gives the ball off to his left wing back, who goes over the right tackle slot, gets some running room. That is Roger Lovern moving inside the 50 into Narrows territory to the 45 and 44-yard line before Bucky Lawson hauls him down on the 43 finally. A gain on the play of 8 yards makes it third down and 2 yards to go. Third down, 2 yards to go for Blacksburg in Narrows territory now for one of the few times in the second half. Going back to throw from the pocket, throwing way downfield and incomplete was Martin, throwing about 10 yards over the head of the intended receiver, left end Fred Zirkle. There to defend was Paul Richardson. But actually the ball was far overthrown, and it comes back to the line of scrimmage, the Narrows 43, at which point it will be fourth down and 2 yards to go. And Blacksburg, of course, having no choice now but to do something other than kick with a 4th and 2 situation. The pitch out is to the left halfback, who's immediately going back into the pocket to throw. Looking down the left side, broken up. by Bob Hale, and very nearly intercepted by Hale, who certainly had notions and couldn't quite hold on to it. Had he would have had an open field all the way. Intended for John Brotherton, and batted down by Bob Hale, so the Blacksburg threat here in the late minutes of this ball game stopped by an alert Narrows defense, and it has been throughout this second half, as Narrows takes over 1st and 10 on its own 43-yard line. The Green Wave, 1st and 10. The left end is split, unbalanced line. The ball goes to the fullback, Bucky Lawson. Lawson piles up the center, gets close to the 45. Stopped by Larry Bott, the right guard of Blacksburg, at the 44, along with Eddie Evans. A yard gain on the last play makes it 2nd and 9 for Narrows, as the Green Wave now will attempt to run out the clock. They lead 14-6 in the final minutes of this ball game. Substitutions coming in now. Huffman's in. Richardson. Single wing right. The ball goes this time to Huffman, the tailback. Huffman gets some good running room. Moves to the 50, down to the 45, the 40, the 39, 38-yard line of Blacksburg, and a first down. Jerry Huffman, a 140-pound junior tailback, gets to the Blacksburg 38-yard line. 18 yards for Huffman. Dotson making the tackle finally on the Blacksburg 38. It's 1st and 10. We probably have less than a minute to play. Narrows coming from behind. They trailed 6-0 at halftime, leading 14-6. Mainly through the efforts of Dan Phlegar once again. Wing T, the ball goes to the tailback, straight up the center to the 35, 34-yard line. Bob Kemper, who's in at fullback. Kemper's a junior, 150-pounder, 5'9". Goes to the Blacksburg 34, stopped by the entire center of the Blacksburg forward wall. It's 2nd down and 6 yards to go. The ball on the near hash mark. And that's the ball game. The game is over, and the final score as Narrows finishes its season undefeated. The Green Wave of Narrows 14 and Blacksburg 6. And for the wrap-up of tonight's game, here's Frank Soden.
Well, Bob Gilmore, it certainly has been wonderful to be here with you for this one, and to see Narrows come through in the same kind of championship style that they did last year. And going off the field now is Coach Harry Ragsdale, getting a ride from his boys as he takes them to victory tonight with that all-important win, 14-6 over Blacksburg.